Support for today's show comes from Squarespace. Whether you need a portfolio to showcase your work, a store to sell your products and services, or a blog to share your ideas, Squarespace gives you everything you need to make your next move into a reality, including a free domain. Not to mention, with Squarespace's beautifully designed templates and customizable features, creating a beautiful website is a simple and intuitive process. Simply add and arrange your content with the click of a mouse. And that's an important thing. I've tried to build so many websites over the years. It's always tough. There's always so much communication that needs to happen, so much coding, all these things that are outside of my grasp. Squarespace makes it so easy. Start your free trial today at squarespace.com. Enter offer code CG to get 10% off your first purchase. CG, like me, Chris Gethard. Squarespace.com, offer code CG. You get 10% off. This episode's brought to you by Subaru. If you've ever wondered what it's like to own a Subaru, you can meet real Subaru owners and find out on meetanowner.com. Owners create a personalized profile, make video, photo, text posts, and communicate one-on-one with users to share a first-hand look at what owning a Subaru is really like. These are actual personal endorsements from people who know. Check out meetanowner.com. Talk to real owners. See how a Subaru can fit your life at meetanowner.com. And stay tuned. At the end of today's show, we're doing a bonus mini episode of Beautiful Anonymous. Subaru has stepped up and allowed us to make this happen. And they let us do it our way. It's a genuine mini episode of Beautiful Stories. I'm really proud of it. Thank you, Subaru, for making that happen. Hello, all you big gifted bastards. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call. No names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun. And I'll get to know you and you'll get to know me.
Hello, everybody. It's your friend Chris Gethard here. Very excited to bring you another episode of Beautiful Anonymous, a show that's all about empathy, baby. Talking to real people about their real lives. And remember, you call in someday, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to anybody. If you want to show your support for the show, you go to earwolf.com. We got the Sorry Sally t-shirt. We got an enamel pin with my head on it. It will say someone in the Facebook group saw that enamel pin and said the artist was a little generous in the amount of hair she chose to put on Gethard's head. Hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings. Also, there's the Webby Awards. The Webby Awards are like the internet Oscars, and I've been nominated for Best Host for Beautiful Anonymous, so you can vote. You want to vote for me for Best Host? I think I'm in like 4th place right now, out of 5. And that's okay. I'm not going to get caught up in this, but you want to see your buddy Gethard win a major award? Go vote at the Webbies. Vote for me for Best Host. Let's see if we can do some damage there. That could be fun. Last week's show, we talked to a midwife. It was very cool to see the reaction to that show. So many people so blown away and impressed by that woman and her selflessness and her life choices. It was very cool. I was a little worried. Personally, she did talk about being a doula for people choosing to have abortions, and I thought there was going to be a lot of negative feedback to that. And it was very cool to see Beautiful Anonymous fans out there. I love you. I really do, because the internet can be such a scary place, but it feels like the fans of this show are so driven by wanting to just listen, hear each other out. Very rarely are there fights. And there were some people who said, I don't agree with abortion, but I really do applaud this woman for her decency. I saw one person who said something along the lines of like, I don't agree with abortion, but I do believe that Christianity is about helping those in need. And in that sense, I applaud this woman. And I thought that was very cool to read. Also, here's something that blew me away. A woman named Dawn said, not very anonymous. Where's everybody listening from? I'm from the west coast of Ireland. And this blew me away. Because again, this show we're on the American phone system here. Almost all of our callers are from America. I know people have always asked how to call internationally, and I don't know what to say outside of you got to pay a lot of long distance rates. I'm sorry. But I do just want to give a shout out. This blew my mind. I want to say hi to Monique from London, Julie from Ontario, Tina from Ulm, Germany, Marcia from Chile, Rihanna from York, UK, Rebecca from London. I'm just going with the non-US ones here. Janet from Canada, Emma from Dublin, Jenny from Manila. Hello, Adam, who just moved to Victoria. Hello, Nurul from Malaysia. Hello, Jackie from the Northern Territory, Australia. If you're living in Australia in someplace called the Northern Territory, I want to know more about what that's like. Please call someday, because that sounds like it's pretty out there. I could keep going. Kelly from someplace called Guelph in Canada. What is Guelph? I never even heard of it. We got Sam from Bristol, UK. We got Jacqueline from Toronto. I should start skipping the Canadians too. They're on the same continent as us. We got Layla from Brighton, Dan from Norway. This is nuts, man. Gabrielle from Johannesburg. Maybe she posted twice. Ryla from Melbourne. Got everybody. Michaela from the Philippines. Joss from Verbier, Switzerland. Marilia from Sao Paulo, Brazil. I could just sit here and read this all day. I'll stop because this thread keeps going on and on. But I was so amazed that so many people like Ilja from Stuttgart, Germany. It blew my mind. Thank you guys for letting me know. Nola from South Africa. I'll stop. I'm done. But thank you. Most of all, thank you to all our international listeners. One simple thread. Somebody in there said, this is making the world feel so much smaller in a good way. I loved that. Super cool. Let's get to this week's episode now that I've just read a number of names, probably infuriated half of you. I know how it works. I see everybody on the internet says they skip my intros. You think I don't see it? I put so much work into these intros. People skipping my intros. That's fine. This call, let's go for it. We're talking to some swingers. We got a couple on the line. We got a guy and a lady. And guess what? They're living outside the traditional definitions of what a marriage might be, even though they are in fact married. And you'll hear, I try to get juicy on this one. Try to make it real juicy. There's some times where I succeed, and there's some times where they say, hey, cool it, dude. But I really enjoyed it. They live a lifestyle. Not everybody's going to agree with that lifestyle, but it is a lifestyle. And once again, the thing that blows me away most by this show, no matter who I talk to for an hour on the phone line, they might live a lifestyle totally different from mine, something that I can never understand, but as long as I respect it, doesn't matter if I understand it. What always happens, people just trying to love the people they love, get by, live the lives they live. So cool to hear. Thank you for letting us in on the often secretive world of swinging, and I hope you enjoy this call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Well, thanks for taking our call. Very exciting. I listen to your show all the time. Love it very much.
Thanks for checking it out. And your voicemail is intriguing. I just wanted to get this out of the way. I say no holding back. I'm not going to dance around anything. If we get explicit, we get explicit. I can always give people a heads up about that in the intro. But let's just talk. I just want to hear about I want to hear about this lifestyle.
Sounds great. All right. Well, I'm here on the phone with my husband. We have a story to tell, but we, have to live it kind of secret. It's not something that is acceptable to talk about out in the world or in our life necessarily. So we live a normal life. We have jobs, kids, live the normal life. But in our free time, we definitely do not live, what would be the norm for a married couple. We are swingers, and we have a lot of fun in our life. We love it very much. So we're kind of opening the floor today to just kind of talk about it. It's something that's, always kept secret, and it's fun to, talk about our life because we love it so much, and it's hard to keep it a secret because it is so fun.
That's rad. I'm psyched. I feel I got more than an hour's worth of questions on this. So okay. I gotta calm down and just get my head straight. So when we talk about, I feel like I know the answer to this, but just so we're all clear, when we say swinging, what exactly, what are we talking here? When we say swinging, what does this entail?
So we're married. We've been married for a long time. But when we, go out on the weekends for dates and stuff, we go on dates with other couples and, swinging, we full swap, we swap with people. So kind of what we look for. So
you'll link up with another couple and then sexually trade off. Is it trade off? Is it a group situation? Do you attend swinging parties? I want to know what the parameters are. Do you keep it more private, intimate, dating?
There's a whole world out there. We kind of, there's a lot of things that we can do. There's parties that you can go to, or you can just do like the individual dating too. We do both. It's kind of fun to mix it up every once in a while.
All right.
I would say we tend to stick to more the dating scene, a little more remote. If you're in a more populated area, I would say you can, almost every weekend there are themed events. There was just like a Mardi Gras event, that kind of stuff. Pretty common across the community. wherever it is that's kind of the scene. But for us, we like to do a little more intimate, more dates, more seeing old friends, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's good. So there's a community and a culture. This is not just.
Right. There's quite a few websites, both national and local, and there's most people you meet, I would say, more just trying to find what fits them versus like I guess comparing it to maybe like a fetish site or something like that.
Right. And can I, just so I can get the sensationalism out of the way, because you can imagine, I would imagine when you do talk about this with people outside the lifestyle, I'm there's a little part of me that's like, I gotta just ask I'm gonna ask like the hard-hitting, the sensationalism-driven questions first.
Asking, I know for sure.
Can I ask, like, like, as far as people who participate in a group sexual activity, what's the largest number of people that have been involved?
Do you mean for like us, an actual like date that we've been on with how many people sort of thing, or what do you mean?
I mean specifically in a bedroom situation. Is it usually just pairs? You guys say you aim towards pairs. You've also been to parties.
Yeah, well, normally we go on dates with just a couple, and so then it would just be the four of us kind of a thing. We have been, to parties where a situation has been, more than four people, so it's kind of depends on what sort of event we're at or where we're going. But it's just a date with two other people, a couple, or just like a single female or something like that.
Right.
For us, the number is 8.
8?
That would be most at one.
We've been in an 8
4 couples kind of hit it off.
Wow. And I think
there's larger. So there's certainly larger events and venues out there if that's more you're seeing too.
I really do love how you guys handled that question as a team, whereas I asked the question and then she said, a very measured, okay, let's think of it this way and that way and this way, and then he went 8, straight up 8.
8 people.
Well, it's like when you ask a detailed question and someone dances around like that, someone's got to step in and save it.
No, we'll all, there will be many bumbling awkward questions. So how do you, is this a lifestyle you guys were in before you got married, or did you discover it along the way?
It's been a journey. I would say when we first started dating, I discovered that I also, I liked women. And I always joked to my husband that, to cut before I switched over to things. So we started dating in that realm already. And then we got married. We did all the, the norms of what you should do, get a job, buy a house, have kids, all that. And then kind of during that time in our life, we sort of gave up our, younger, I liked girls phase. And just were, just monogamous. That's how we got married. That's how we lived for quite a few years. And then I think at one point I just remembered, I was like, hey, you know what? I still like girls. And, I don't want to really give up on that. And so it worked out to where I said one day to my husband, I think we should get a girlfriend. I think that would be awesome, because then I could kind of have, what I want, both ways. And of course he thought that was, an awesome idea. Like, yeah, let's find one. So it's kind of a journey. That's sort of how it started. It took us quite a few years after we were married to kind of find that again. But we, for a while we tried to just, live the life that you're supposed to live and stuff. And after a while I was like, you know what, I still miss it. So.
Wow. So I feel like the very cartoonish, like, the stereotypical response to that would be like, whoa, score, dude. You know what I mean? That's like the bro-y answer. I would imagine it's a much more layered reaction than that in reality, right?
Yeah, for us, it was more like, man, there was like a year and a half, 2 years of like discussions, just thoroughly talking over details and just kind of wrapping your head around it, accepting it, I guess, ourselves maybe. And that's basically our process was definitely a walk before you crawl, baby steps for us.
Uh-huh. And what are the terms of engagement that you did come up with in that 1 to 2 year period of sort of letting this idea percolate? What are the details that you land on?
Well, we basically went into it full force, and you're just like, well, let's just figure out what works and doesn't work as we go. We had, typical rules you'll see initially. You'll see how people who want to stick with, the same room, which is certainly common. What else did we? I don't know if we had much else besides that, and just kind of repeatedly checking in.
The same room. We wanted to be together, and I think we were we were so new we didn't know what to look for. I think so. We just kind of jumped in and just started figuring it out. And I think we've decided along the way things that we don't like and things that we do like, and we've changed even from when we started to what we like now. So
yeah, and I feel like that first night there must have been a lot of stress there, huh?
Actually, the first time we ever told anybody, like a close friend, was because we were going to some random address to meet some people, and we're like, third person, when you look at that, like, I met these people on the internet, I'm going to meet them somewhere, and you're like, yeah, I feel like I could end up missing. So we kind of we told my best friend, and he was not surprised, basically, just as a hey man, if you don't hear from me in 3 days, here's the address,
And this is what we're doing, and yep.
Wow. And he was like, yeah, you guys, there's a sexual vibe pervading your relationship, and I understand you need to explore it more thoroughly than the traditional.
Heavily, yes, we started heavily early on, along that conversation period, we started going to a lot of strip clubs, just hanging out at strip clubs, which was counterproductive probably, but it was fun. That's how the whole thing started. Was we went out my birthday one year, and then she got a lap dance from a stripper, and it kind of reawoken that in her. The next day, she's like, we should find a girlfriend, because they just apparently grow on trees, in her opinion.
Yeah, from my limited knowledge of this world, I've heard that the single girl is referred to as the unicorn because it's a
unicorn. Yeah,
a rarity.
They're hard to find. Yes, and if there is one, there a lot of people are trying to get a date with them, so not super easy.
So the single female into dating a couple is perhaps one of the most, as far as supply and demand goes, one of the most rare people in the dating scene. Fascinating. Yep. So you get
no lack of messages if you're an attractive single girl.
Yeah,
pretty easy to get communication going.
So you tell a buddy, hey. Okay, if we disappear, if anything bad happens, here's what's going on. So you drive to this house that you found on the internet. You pull into the driveway. Is there ever is there a moment of is there a moment in the car where you're like, is it time to bail? Or are you like, no, let's go?
Absolutely.
We were terrified. What are we doing? I think we joke about it now, but we always put ourselves in these crazy awkward positions, and just, we do it to ourselves. Here we are meeting up with these people at, some random address. And of course it's brand new to us. We had no idea what we were doing, and it was terrifying, of course. So.
Right. And what was that first experience with a single female, or was it with a couple?
It was with a couple.
Wow. Now, how does that leap happen? Because I'll say this, culturally, I think the idea of a bisexual female, right, that is the stereotype of that's maybe culturally a form of experimentation that's accepted more than some others. But I feel like that must be a conversation about, I'm not sure what the stance regarding any attraction to other men was between the two, but that is a leap, right? From the initial, I am a female who likes other females.
We never really started with the single female thing, just because it is so hard to find, so then you just, you'd start dating couples. And I like guys too, but it was for me more about the woman of the couple, I guess. And, and then the guy was sort of the next, also there as well. But I was more seeking the girls out of the couples anyway too. That's kind of how we got started on the couple dating. That's pretty much what's more available.
And I know initially, even in our conversations, for me, it was I wanted to make sure I wasn't just selling out and being like, well, I want to do this part, so whatever she does is fine as long as I can do my part. So that was kind of a hurdle initially for me once it transitioned to okay, we're probably going to see couples versus just single girls. And there's definitely some conversation and transition for that. And I didn't even know going into that how I was going to handle or feel about it.
Yeah. What's the conversation? Because you don't know. That's one of those choices that it's like this, our instincts are telling us to go here. This could be really fun. If this turns out to not be our thing, what do we do when we walk back to the car tonight? Like, that must be a real conversation, right?
Right. And we basically kept it at, okay, it's just like a free night. Whatever happens, you can be pissed, but you can't be a dick about it the next day. We can reset.
It's just,
but we had to go in with like no judgment, figure it out, and then we regroup basically.
So you had that conversation.
And it's just a lot of learning moments.
You had that conversation though, like, this might be a one night thing and we never mention this ever again. It had, wow.
Yep.
Right.
I want to ask an explicit question if it's okay. Tell me if I ever cross a line, but I just want to ask,
no, you're good.
Like that first time that you see your significant other having sex with someone else across the room, what is going through your head?
Oh, that's a good question. It's surprising. It's almost like you're not seeing what's actually happening. But at the same time, you're also, busy and having your own fun. And it's just, it starts off at first surprising, but after a while, like now when I look at it, it's exciting because I see how much fun he's having. I see how much fun, they're having together. And it's, it just helps me have more fun.
Wow. Good
and for
answer.
me, it was like the kind of the same thing. I look over, thought was going on, and like process it and back to what I was doing. I don't think I really dwelled on it at the time. And then I knew it didn't super bother me. I was going to have like a moment of rage or something. So, so you're more of a watcher than I am. I'm more like, I accept it's happening. I'm not against it. I'm not like, I don't know if I would ever just watch. That's not my bag. But
when you say you like to watch, how come? What is that? What feelings does that bring up?
It's just exciting for me because I know how awesome it is when we're together. And so when I see him doing that with someone else, it's exciting. I think like she's having an awesome time. That's cool. Like it just makes me happy that they're having fun and she's having a little escape and a fantasy as well. That we're involved in. I think that's so awesome.
Yeah. That's cool. So you, as someone who's attracted to both parties, you're just enjoying the view at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you guys, and then afterwards, like, so there's some relationships you've built where this has happened. Are there like, do you like go out to movies or like you go get coffee, like catch up? Do you have like a text chain with like all four of you on it? Like, what's the interactions like afterwards?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're generally friends, with everybody that we're dating. So we constantly are texting with them. We have 4-way, text streams going with everybody we know. And it's fun because we just, we're all together. We all know what's happening with everybody's relationship and it's, we're a group. It's fun.
Wow. And when you meet people, how do you there's so much logistics, huh? So I would imagine so much of this life is like fun and exciting in the bedroom, but before that, there's a lot of logistics. I'm like, when you meet someone, do you both have to agree that each member of the couple is attractive? How do you flow?
Yeah. It's basically like 10% awesome and 90% logistics and like chaos because like just a lot of like uncomfortable situations that you put yourself in, a lot of nerves, like, but to answer your question about the dates, we catch up with people and talk to them all the time. What was the other question?
How do you discuss like the attractiveness factor when there's four people involved?
You have to leave. You try to do as much legwork as possible and as much research. And then you can weed out a fair amount of people that way. And then you just kind of have a lot of people have signs. We've kind of gone away from like signs where grab a leg and this means yes or whatever. And we kind of go with we have a pretty good idea heading into it. But you certainly have to agree 4 ways.
Yeah. So on the sites where you meet, you can see photographs. I'm sure there might be a little bit of Facebook stalking that goes on from time to time. You have a general idea what you're getting into. But every once in a while, you might run into a situation where you're like, well, he's built like a Greek god, but her haircut just ain't working for me. We got to split. Let's do the leg grab. All of a sudden, one of us isn't feeling well. Let's head on home. Ooh. Is it going to be awkward? Is it going to be... I bet that's a good question, is my point. And I bet the answer is going to be pretty exciting. But before we hear that answer, we got many sponsors that help make this show happen. Let's go ahead and hear about the products and services they have to offer. So happy to tell you about Blue Apron. I use it. I love it. Okay, not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a real difference. Important to know where your food comes from. Thankfully, for less than $10 a meal, Blue Apron delivers delicious, quality food, courtesy of over 150 local farms, fisheries, and ranchers across the U.S. right to your door. It supports a more sustainable food system, sets high standards for ingredients. It's no wonder they're the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in this country. And I'm telling you, the really great thing about Blue Apron, it shows up. My wife and I, we get so excited. We pull out the recipes, and they got picture guides. Even a bumbling dork like me can cook these foods. And we sit, we talk, we actually cook at home, new things that we haven't tried before. It breaks us out of our routine, allows us to just really have a night in together that has this excitement. I really love the experience. Some of the meals available in April include spinach and fresh mozzarella pizza with olives, bell peppers, and ricotta salata. Wow. Sweet and sour salmon with bok choy, carrot, and ginger fried rice. Parmesan crusted chicken with creamy fettuccine and roasted broccoli. Baby broccoli and fontina paninis with hard-boiled egg and arugula salad. Check out this week's menu. Get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/beautiful. You'll love it. Love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/beautiful. I really enjoy it. Me and my wife love doing it together. Blue Apron is a better way to cook. How'd you like to be your own boss and have the power to earn extra money whenever you want? Get your side hustle on. Drive with Uber. That's what Katrina did. Having just moved to a new city, Katrina wanted to get out and meet new people. She's done that, driving with Uber. Plus, she's seeing new parts of her city she's never seen and earning extra money. Look, when you drive with Uber, you're in control, okay? You work around your life. Nobody's telling you when to come in, when to leave, asking you to change your plans, come in early, stay late, all those things. No, it's up to you. You turn on the app when you want to work. You turn it off when you don't. Simple as that. You decide when and where you want to pick up that extra cash. Makes driving with Uber a great fit. Just about anybody, especially if your regular schedule is always changing. It's a nice way to find that extra cash in those gaps that you have. It's really cool. Favorite part is how Uber's Instant Pay makes everyday payday. You cash out straight from the app to your bank account up to 5 times a day. That's rad. You get paid 5 times a day if you feel like it. I like that. Meet new people, see new parts of your city, and earn extra cash when you want on your schedule, like Katrina. Drive with Uber. Go to uber.com/drive now, and every day can be payday. That's uber.com/drive now. uber.com/drive now. Certain restrictions apply. See site for details. Thanks to our sponsors for bringing Beautiful Anonymous to this world for free. Now let's get back to our phone call. But her haircut just ain't working for me. We got to split. Let's do the leg grab. All of a sudden, one of us isn't feeling well. Let's head on home.
That, and that happens. Generally, the dates that we go on, we know exactly what they look like before we go into the date, so it doesn't normally happen that way. But we have met people, at events or wherever, where we just, we know that, maybe one person out of that couple is attracted, the other one is definitely not what we're looking for. So we'll just kind of politely keep moving, just try to keep the conversation going, and then, about something else, and just try to be polite. It's not fun to reject people or anything, but at the same time, we're into it because we like to date and we like to be attracted to them. And it's, it's not like, anybody will do. It's like dating, for, how everyone else dates as well too,
How fun. There must be some.
Occasionally you get that half of a couple who doesn't quite get that there's nothing to go for, and you kind of more or less sooner or later have to be somewhat blunt.
Yeah.
But, we've been pretty lucky overall. Pretty positive experience. But like I said, we do a lot of legwork. We don't do a lot of random, we're going to head out tonight kind of a thing. So
yeah. But it must be like, there is an element of like, if this is your chosen lifestyle, there must be some fun conversation. Like you must, like the gab, you guys must get to gab with each other. Like, oh man, she was a perfect 10. And that guy.
That's my favorite part. Afterwards, we'll just talk all about, how it all went. And I just love to hear what his thoughts are and, like specifics, like what, how was it? Like, was it awesome? And I get to hear all that, it's fun to hear. And it's just fun to hear his perspective and then how I saw it as well. And we love to, talk about it on, afterwards the next day and all that.
That's cool. I think the stereotype too, I think the thought from the outside, one thing that's very cool for me to hear as we talk is like, I think the stereotype from the outside would be that generally it might be a guy that drives this because there's that, that urge to get around a little bit more. And the stereotype really sounds like you're in the driver's seat on this one, lady, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's, it's a team, for sure. We work together on it. We decide on people together and, we listen to each other's opinions. We're a team, definitely. It's not just me driving it or him or, at certain times, maybe one of us is feeling a little like, oh, maybe take a break, but the other one's not ready, so sometimes we'll get on different times, sort of, but for the most part, we work really well together on it and figure it out together.
Yeah, and there's definitely that across the spectrum of it. There is certainly that, where it's not the woman driven, it's sometimes there's one dragging somebody else along, and if you kind of know, I guess if you've been around a bit, you kind of know what to look for and pick up on that, because you do see that. Like the last thing you want is like an uncomfortable situation where half of the party doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. What an odd, just a moment in life like, hey, I'd want to sleep with other girls. We should get in on that. And then you have to go like, okay, I guess I'm going to sleep with a bunch of other girls again. Okay. I mean, I just want to be blunt and ask this question. And I feel like you guys are amongst some of the most open, chilled out people I've ever talked to on the show. So I'm feeling progressively more comfortable. Here is one, is that, like I mentioned, the bisexual female, a little more accepted in culture. There's like a little bit of just more of that vibe. When other men get involved, sir, do you have to explore like what exactly does this mean about my sexuality to have sexual experience where other men are here involved? Do those thoughts come up?
Like for
for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so for me, I don't, and this is pretty common, at least in the circle, I don't, quote unquote, play with guys or anything like that. I mean, I guess there's always some male-female stuff, or male-female stuff that tends to happen, but as far as me, I don't participate with guys, and I would say, in our experience, pretty low percentage that does, or is interested in that, and I think it just goes back to that whole stigma or whatever. I mean, there's certainly been people out there, but just something that doesn't interest me, I guess.
Right. That's cool. I think there are probably some people who define norms of sexuality as even saying like, well, I would never, if I'm not attracted to someone of the opposite sex, I wouldn't even have a sexual experience with them tangentially involved or in the same room. I feel like...
Oh, right. Yeah. And no, we've been, I guess the boundary's kind of up and we're pretty open about that. And I think, I don't know if we've ever came across a situation that was uncomfortable for me from that perspective.
You guys really have your shit together in a way. I thought this was going to be like super dirty, and it's really, really interesting. But you guys have thought about all this backwards and forwards. This is just a culture you participate in.
I think it's like that's like a metaphor for the lifestyle too, because most people come in thinking it's super just hardcore orgies and just chaos, and most of it is Facebook/dating, which is awesome.
Dating and relationships,
yeah. A great time with that too, but.
So at the end of the day, it's just sort of our instincts are guiding us towards a particular lifestyle. It's something that's a little underground. We're going to do it. We're going to put in the same work you would in any other type of relationship. So you've had there's been a couple hardcore orgies though, right? I'm not wrong here.
No.
Yeah.
There certainly is.
We found ourselves in one, just the one.
What is that? I got to ask. Walk me through the steps of an orgy.
Oh, man.
For ours, it came up kind of random, as most probably do.
Random orgy, all right.
It was so random.
At an event, and we're drinking, having a good time. I think we left to get drinks or something, came back, and there's just like three couples heading to a room. You're like, oh, I see where this is going. I get to the room, there's a fourth couple, and you're like, I don't know them? Are they supposed to be here? And yeah, it just kind of took off from there.
It took off. Yeah, people just started, and it kept going, and we found ourselves in that 8-person orgy.
And what is the going on? Is it just like I would imagine there's like all like the there's like the like living out the fantasy, the pornography side of like there's all sorts of moaning and sweating, but are there also just so many moments of like, hey, could you move your elbow? Like, are there lots of those?
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's really real like that. It really is. It's like we're all laughing and talking across the room and just having a fun time, but we're all still having sex. It was like I remember at one point. One of the girls was pretty drunk, and she, like the next person was heading towards her, and she's like, "What do you want?" Like laughing about it. We were just like all having a good time. It was just hilarious and fun.
Just like, what do you want? And then somebody's like, I guess.
What do you want? Get on over here.
Wow. And then the person just answers like, I guess I want a 69. And then they're like, okay.
Right. Exactly.
It's that simple. Wow.
It was easy. It was just so fluid and fun, and it just like randomly happened, and it was awesome.
That was something like I said I would never probably be interested in, just like from the perspective of like the logistics, like I'm in this room, there's like these women, like I don't know if they want to be near me or want me to, it just seems like a headache. But when it actually did happen, it was pretty seamless, pretty comfortable.
Sounds pretty fun. Like, so what kind of event are we talking here? Where an orgy breaks out.
There's lifestyle events, and they're basically themed. They're like secret themed clubs or whatever, and they have like through their websites they'll promote weekend events. You see things like slutty prom or like where people dress up to a certain theme and kind of mingle. Usually a couple hundred people or more, and so yeah, it's kind of a whole lingerie parties, and just kind of they'll rent out a venue and just close it down.
I know this is a little crass, but I just have to say, it must really suck to be the first person to finish at an orgy. Right? The person who's like just hanging out waiting for things to wrap up, that's gotta be. And then if there's somebody who can't finish, everybody must be like, come on, dude.
Yeah, there's that
a little bit
sobering moment of you're like, what did I just do? And you're just staring at this room like, and it's not usually like a hotel room, so you're limited on where you can go. So you're like, do I like get around to drinks? Do I pass out towels? What do I do now?
Pass out towels, because there is that moment. Because again, this is crass. We're gonna put a little bit of an X-rated label in the intro of this one so people know. I'm just gonna go there and say, like, we all know, everybody knows. There's times where you get a little worked up, you're in the mood, and like like self-pleasuring. Like there's times where you finish, and as soon as you finish, you're like, oh, I gotta click X on this browser and just move on because I got real caught up in something there. Like I just got caught up. I never
sobering moment of shame.
When you're like, I never expected to watch that video. Let me go ahead and X this out. My incognito browser on Chrome. There must be a moment in an orgy where if you finish a little soon, where you're looking around like, there's
you're going out the door or the window. Like, how fast can you get out of this room, right? Yeah, I mean, no, most things are pretty good. I mean, I don't remember on that particular occasion.
I don't remember that happening that time, I guess. Yeah, we were very busy the whole time. So
That's good. Yeah, right in the thick of things, it sounds like.
Yeah, right in the thick of it.
Does everybody get, like, if somebody takes too long, is there, like, again, I'm just going to start being a little crass. Like, there must be a point if it's like, there's just one person who needs to finish, and you want to respect that. It's an experience for everybody, but everybody else is, like, done. And it's like, dude, like, just don't want to watch you, like, eat ass anymore. Like, come on.
At some point, they just quit. I think there's usually one of those at the end, and then at the end, it's just like, okay, everyone's chatting, and they just kind of, okay, I guess we're done now.
Yeah.
Good.
Because I would have to imagine there's like lots of nerves and social etiquette that gets involved that's hard to navigate, and that might affect people's performance along the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot going on. There's definitely a lot to look at, a lot going on, a lot of, it's just a lot to take in all at once. So afterwards, you're just like, whoa, what, let's think about this and re-talk about it. And wow, what just happened?
And how do you avoid feelings of competitiveness? Like there must be times where you're like with someone where it's like, you walk away and it's like, wow, she was so hot, or like, wow, that guy's body was crazy nice. Like, how do you avoid the insecurity? I think that's one of the major questions. I bet a lot of people, like, there's probably a lot of people who have said, like, I wonder if I could ever do that. But then they're like, oh, I'd be so insecure. How do you dodge that? Mm-hmm.
Well, the good thing is it's not, we're not all supermodels. We're all just regular people. We're just people dating people. So I generally, we don't feel too bad about ourselves. We're not supermodels by any means, but we don't, we try hard to look good. And, the people that we're with are also, the same, around the same age as us. They've been through the same, life experiences. We're not all supermodels, so we get it. And we're not looking for the perfect bodies or anything. We're just looking for fun people. It's more about personalities and connecting that way than, just what they look like.
I think one thing that is kind of interesting for us is we do tend to, so you have your online persona, and I would say our online persona is pretty good. Most of the pictures we take or post are pretty well known. They're attractive pictures. But we also kind of stick both up and down within that range. So you see a lot of people who are like, at some point you're just trying to jump too many points, where you're just like, you're trying to overachieve, and that's a recipe for disaster. So we kind of take the same approach. If someone messages and they're clearly like a fitness 24/7, super cut, and that's their goal is to have a 10 of a body across the board, and it's like we'll probably not have that much in common, for one, and and two, it's like I feel like you're too attractive for me. It's like you're at a level that I don't want to participate in right now. So
much logic
both ways. Where a lot of people are just like, if I can get to that level and with that person in this, then I want to be there. Where we look for connection first, I guess, is the basis of what I'm saying.
And I'm going to ask a very juvenile follow-up, but I have to ask. There's size insecurities amongst men. This is like a well-tread joke.
Right.
Are there ever situations where you get in the bedroom and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, this guy looks like one of those fireplace logs. It's like a Duraflame just fell out of his pants.
That does, yes. Yes, you just you see it.
I have been surprised one time with such. Yeah, it looked like like a balloon you make a balloon animal with. It got huge. Like it was huge. And I just was like, oh my God. And what do you do with that?
What's the reaction? How do you handle that?
You just keep going and you're just like, wow.
I just cried and left.
Wait, did you say you left or laughed?
I said I just cried and left is what happened. No. For me, like knowing that was, I don't know. I guess I didn't have I was like, I don't know, if you were into it, go for it. I didn't have an opinion on it necessarily, other than like, you big gifted bastard,
But that's what's so cool about you two that I can tell is like there's so much heart and logic and reason. It's about you guys as a couple, and I would imagine that those conversations get you past all. Like I think there are people who I'm sure there's the concern, very valid, that they'd say, well, if I ran into a situation like that, is it going to change everything forever? Can I satisfy my lover after that? Sounds like you guys know that you're connected. Mm-hmm. You're connected in a way that goes beyond some of those physical concerns.
Oh yes, yeah. Like we choose to share our life together. It's we're partners, 100%. The sex life, that's just what we do for fun. Like that has nothing to do with if we're still together, if we're still solid, if we're partners. We are that. We go home together, we live our life together, and then we just go have fun, doing these sexual things, together, but also separate,
So there's like 5 days a week where just like any other married couple with kids, you're like, should we like heat up the chicken from last night, or maybe we should bake this ziti? And then the weekend hits, and you're like, should we call balloon animal guy? Should we call him Mag? What do you think?
Like, it's time to live. Exactly.
I would
It's like
say
our
for us,
time.
more like 30 days a month are chicken reheat nights, and then we get out once a month, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
depends on the time of year, I guess. But
And can I just ask, like in what's your general age range? How long have you been married?
early 30s, early to mid 30s, I would say, and then we're married,
10 years.
10 years.
We've been together since we were teenagers.
Teen?
So
Oh, wow.
We started dating young. Yeah.
In high school.
In high school, yep.
That's cool. So, so was part of this maybe like dating that young, you don't get that traditional college, let's really explore, experiment phase. Let's just have that together.
We did. Yeah, we went through that. Yeah, we, at one point, I think we talked about, like, are we okay with just being us two forever? Like, that's really strange because he was my first, and it was sort of to be like, is that, it seems weird to not go out and live that part of your life, And for us, it just made sense to just, live our life that way.
Wow. So marrying that.
was almost a hang up for me, is that just to be sure we weren't just quote unquote making up for fucks we missed in high school,
Yeah.
So we were just like, to me, it was important that we're not just trying to make up or like realize something that isn't there, but it was just, I don't think that's really ever been a driving factor, and maybe initially, but yeah. That's
Since
long done, I would say.
Since I just brought up the fact that you guys have kids again, you gonna tell them someday? Or is it just, nobody wants to know about their parents' sex life anyway, so.
Yeah. It's a little bit of that. You don't have to go around telling people what you do behind closed doors, but, if there is ever a time in our life when we do have a girlfriend or like somebody steady that we do, want to have in our lives, then I would imagine that's something we talk about. But we haven't talked about it now because we're just having fun. We're not, inviting people into our actual life, just our bedroom life. So.
And what's that? Has the babysitter started to say like, seems like I get a call like once a month where you both dress super hot.
Yeah. That's a worry of mine. It's hard. Every time we get a sitter, I'm like, okay, we've used them. Let's get the next sitter. To try to keep the rotation going so it's not so obvious.
You don't want to get in a rhythm where some like teenage kid is like, I can't help but notice, you tend to always leave in thigh highs. Like, it's like, wow. And when a situation like this is over, because it's you guys go on dates, you have relations. Are there like couple breakups? Like, do you break up with a couple ever? I've had some horrible breakups with just one person. I'm excited to hear how that goes when you double or sometimes quadruple that. But before we hear the answer to that question, we got a lot of advertisers. They bring the show to you guys for free. Really do support them. Great products. Use the promo codes. Helps the show. We'll be back with more phone call in just a second. Support for today's show comes from Squarespace. Whatever your next big idea might be, count on Squarespace to help you create an eye-catching online platform that brings it to life. Whether you need a portfolio to showcase your work, a store to sell your products and services, or a blog to share your ideas, Squarespace gives you everything you need to look like an expert right from the start. You even get a unique domain, strengthens your brand, makes it easier for visitors to find you. And I will tell you, there's a lot of hardworking web people out there in this world. I love it. I will say on my end, I'm someone who, my website needs constant updates, road shows, anything, all these things that come and go out of my life, announcements, things that I need to be able to update it myself. It's hard. It's hard, but not with Squarespace. It becomes so intuitive, simple, easy for a bonehead like me. Even I can pull it off. Plus, look, Squarespace's award-winning templates. They create a beautiful website. It's simple. It's everything you need. You can add, arrange your own content, all with the click of a mouse. Nothing to install or patch or upgrade, none of that stuff. And if you do have a question, Squarespace has an award-winning 24/7 customer support service. Helps you with any problem. No dumb questions. They're not going to judge, okay? You think of them as your very own IT department. Make your next move. Start your free trial at squarespace.com today. Enter offer code CG to get 10% off your first purchase. That's CG, like me, Chris Gethard. Squarespace.com, offer codes CG, you get 10% off. Why do potato chips that crunch louder actually taste better to us Do restaurants make smaller sandwiches for women than men? And what can architects teach us about dumplings? For answers to these questions and many more, check out the Sporkful Food Podcast. It's a show where host Dan Pashman and his guests obsess about food to learn more about people. As Dan says, the Sporkful is not for foodies. It is for eaters. This week on the Sporkful, Dan talks with comic and actor Kumail Nanjiani. Great friend of mine, hilarious man. Kumail explains why he thinks all Islamophobes should be forced to try Pakistani food. I have been a guest on the Sporkful. Talked about Taylor ham, one of the native dishes of my land, New Jersey, where I come from. It was a great time. Dan's a great guy. It's a fun, laid-back podcast, and it really thinks about food in cool ways. Highly recommend it personally. Been a guest on it. Check it out. Subscribe to the Sporkful today in Stitcher or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again to our advertisers. Now, let's get back to the phone call. Are there, like, couple breakups? Like, do you break up with a couple ever?
Oh.
Yeah.
We've...
Yeah, I mean, it's never, like, in your face, though. It's always kind of trails off more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times, I think, where there's one time, in particular that I can think of where it went pretty bad with a couple, not like so bad, but it went, we just had to end it kind of thing. We were on a vacation with a couple, and it just did not work out while we were there with them, unfortunately. So about halfway through the trip, we just kind of knew it was kind of over with them, and it was sort of awkward, but we just, we enjoyed the rest of our trip with somebody else. It was kind of a lifestyle vacation anyway, so it worked out okay. But it was sort of it was awkward to be kind of ending things with them when we thought we were going to have a fun week with them, and while we were there, and yeah.
What's the resort I'm thinking of? That's like the lifestyle, like a famous one.
There's a few of them.
Temptations. That's the one I've heard of. Yeah.
Keto. Yeah. Yep.
Hedonism. Yeah.
Yep, Desire. Yep.
Desire. They have some great names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And lifestyle.
We've only been to one of them. We've just been to Temptations is all.
Yeah. And is that all inclusive? You do the all inclusive there?
It is.
They got the
it was great.
Swim up bar?
What was that?
Topless swim up bar.
The pool? Part?
Swim up bar, yes.
And is everybody just like naked? Is it just like, I just went to an all-inclusive resort in the Dominican Republic. Is it just like that, except that everybody's like horny and naked?
Yeah, it's like pretty much. It's like a lifestyle-friendly resort. So I don't know if everybody's swingers there, but it's like a topless pool, sexy events, swim-up bar, all that sort of thing. And we found quite a few swingers there. So I would imagine there was a lot there.
And you're living the lifestyle. The lifestyle is kind of the terminology that people apply to themselves.
Yep.
Have you ever been in a situation, like maybe it's at a resort where it seems like that? Because I would imagine you guys are very thoughtful, measured, research it. I would imagine there are some people who are like, we just like anonymous situations, group situations. I would imagine when you're in a resort, there's people from a whole different spectrum of interest. Have you guys ever been in a situation where you look around and you're like, too much?
Most of the stuff is behind like closed doors. Most of it's like really, you'd almost never guess it if you were like around the pools and whatnot. It's a lot of like more or less polite conversation and just seeing if it goes anywhere, it seems. We have known quite a few people who that's what they started out. They just decided they want to do it, and they flew to like even some of the more advanced resorts where it's all lifestyle people, and where there's exactly that. There's like club night where there'll be X amount of people in a room, and they just start pairing off and go from there. So I mean, we've never done that in particular, but people do start there, which seems crazy to me.
Yeah. What happens if you guys fly to Temptations, you get down there, this is your secret life. Is there ever that concern of like, you're going to turn a corner and be like, fuck, that's my boss. Sorry, Sally. Is there any ever, have you had that situation where you're like, but I guess you guys research couples so much, but it would be more of like a resort or a lifestyle event that's a concern, right?
No, we're actually in a pretty small area. We'll say less than 100,000 people. And we ran into people just at schools and different things where you don't know them, but they're on websites or you know who they are, and you immediately can place it, and then you just get the fuck out of there, basically, is how we approach it.
Run.
There's no tip of the hat. There's no push the glasses down to the end of your nose and wink over them.
Right. But we've had people over that were maybe coming to stay for a weekend or just to hang out, more of our, like, friends that we have had long term. And we've had, someone drop by unexpectedly to say hi, and you're like, oh, this is so-and-so, we know them from work, kind of thing. And
yeah,
it happens.
And that, like, when the kids are like, kids, you're gonna go stay with grandma and grandpa this weekend, and then
right, exactly.
Wow, wow. Now, I do have to assume, and you guys have been so thoughtful about it. It's clear, like, this is a choice you're making that works for you guys. You don't sound particularly hedonistic. I would have to imagine, just so we get this on record, like, I would have to imagine you guys, and I would imagine most people in the lifestyle, you're playing real safe with this stuff, right? Like, there's got to be concerns about diseases and things like that.
Oh yeah,
definitely,
absolutely.
Definitely.
It's one of the first things you talk about with people. Really, when you start to get to know people, you always cover. Are you safe? Do you use condoms? Do you have any diseases? We always talk about that. We know everybody's, personal info before we get with them, for sure.
Testing.
Like, when you go to Temptations, do they have, like, a booth set up just for testing? Like,
no,
I feel like Temptations get a bad rap because when we were there, it was pretty much like semi-mixed spring break. So I don't know if it's, like, full on, like, lifestyle, but yeah, you definitely get tested routinely, and you definitely make sure you're keeping yourself and everyone else safe.
No, I want to ask too, because, like I said, you guys seem like a happy couple. Sounds like, in talking to you, just your tones of voices, like, it's not like you're oozing sexuality into the phone. Seem like you said, 30 days of the month, pretty average, home, kids.
Yep.
Is what it is. There are a lot of people listening to this who, I'm sure, regardless of all of that, just their gut instinct is to judge it, condemn it. How do you respond to those people? Like, what's the, you know what I mean? There's people out there who have value systems where this is the thing to condemn. What do you?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we understand that. And that's, part of the reason why we live our life secret. There's people that will judge us, and we know that we're good people, and we're just doing what works in our life, and we're not hurting anybody. We're having fun, and we're happy with each other, and we're happy with what we're doing. So, to me, it's not a problem. We're not hurting anybody, and I understand the people are, some people maybe would take it, differently, or like that we're bad people, but I just don't believe, that we're bad people. So it doesn't bother me if people think that, because I know that we're not we're not bad people. So.
And do you,
I think the main reason for us to do, like, an interview like this is just to kind of maybe shed some light on that. Yeah, it's not all debauchery and heathens. It's more like, a lifestyle choice people make. And, something that we like for us, but I'm never going to push it on anybody else, or, be upfront or too in your face about it.
And do you wish it was more open, or is, like, I would imagine there's got to be some part where the secretive side is, like, hot, right? Like, is that a factor for you? Or, like, I know like polyamory, for example is something that people, like, talk more and more open about. Is there that wish there? Or are you like, no, we're pretty psyched with how we got the current setup?
It's hard to keep the secret, like I would love to tell, everybody. I would love to, just because for me, half of it is, I do like women, and it's hard to just live, as a straight woman, all the time, married with kids, and when that's not my true self, so for me, it's a little bit harder to keep the secret and just, keep that persona going. But at the same time, we've had a lot of talks about it, and we know that telling people is just going to cause unwanted judgment and rumors, and, people won't understand it. And, so there is no reason to say it besides just, to have a clear conscience, and, for me, it's not worth it. So we just keep it secret, keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both of us are pretty open, and we're both, like, terrible liars. So those are the only hindrance, is just remembering leave out details or to censor the stories you tell if you're talking to vanilla friends or whatever. And but for me, it's like, don't say a word to anybody. Why would you? In my opinion, she's a little more, especially after a few drinks, wants to tell everybody, wants to discuss it. And it's like, no, bad for business, bad idea.
Have you ever, like, have you been found out? Have you had to have some, like, okay, look, here's what's really going on? Like, have you had people in your life who have picked up on it?
Yeah, yes. We had kind of a bummer of a story. We had a friend of a friend try to out us at like just a random friend's house one time. They had said, I think they're swingers, and these are the reasons why I think that, and and we just kind of had to deny. But of course, the things that he had said why he thinks that are of course all true,
Mm-hmm.
And he did have, he knew proof, but we just had to keep denying it. We're just, nope, that's not us, and just we can't let it go, can't let it out, I guess. So we just keep denying.
That's a bummer. What had he like seen you? Had he seen your profiles on websites or something?
He had known somebody that we knew through a series of channels, and that was about the extent of his research. He actually told a friend that does know that initial person we told to come looking for us if he wasn't hearing from us, and so he told him, and he was like in the middle of this, and we just kind of denied and backed out of it.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's a weird thing to put on you. I will say, can I just applaud you? I really love all the language. Like, there's a language to this culture I've already picked up on in 50 minutes of talking, of saying, like, there is a friend who we knew through a series of channels, and saying things like, well, at some of the more advanced resorts. Like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things here. The advanced resorts. It gets really crazy there.
It's almost like a subculture with its own terminology and its own way of working.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. You guys got any plans coming? You got any plans coming up? Any hot plans? Do you like plan all month and just get super worked up and hot? Is it like you 3 weeks out?
Kinda.
You're like, yeah.
Pretty much, we have a date coming up that's like probably 3 weeks out. So with a new couple that we had met at a party, actually the last party we went to. So we've been kind of texting with them, and we have a date set up. So waiting on that one.
And what's the anticipation like? Like, what's going through your head right now?
I guess just getting to know them. I guess
God damn it! I'm trying to make this thing all about porno, and then you just keep answering with all these well thought out, extremely thoughtful answers in your Midwestern accent. I'm trying to get it all pornographic.
I'll give you this. There's a lot of dirty talk before and after with her that she's not telling you. She gets very excited, at least before, where she'll almost say certain situations, or like, I think it'd be great if you did this, and only a little more vulgar in a bedroom setting.
Yeah, I get. I feel like you really you don't want me to know, but you want me to know there's something to know.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
That's what I'm. The teasing here. No, that's fine. The last thing I want to do is drag out all sorts of like dirty details when you have explicitly said part of you wanting to make this call is to present the fact that it's not just constantly that.
No, it's honestly, it's a lot more about relationships and connecting with people that understand the real you. That's, for me, that's like the best part of it. So
yeah, that's such a cool way to think of it. I don't think I've ever thought of this particular lifestyle like that, of there's something in me and I don't want to stuff it down. I want to embrace it.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems healthy to me. What do you think? Do you think if you hadn't embraced this, do you think it would have negatively affected your marriage, or would it have just been what it was?
Yeah, I mean, we had quite a few years where we just, going through the motions, not super happy, just kind of doing what you're supposed to do. And, I think when we truly became happy is when we were honest with each other about, those sexual wants. Then you open up that whole world and you get to know each other on a whole nother level that, you never shared before. So I think if we had never opened that, that we would have just been going through the motions and doing, our normal life, maybe not super happy, but maybe, just regular happy, going through the motions,
Yeah. So is there like one
Yeah,
week?
I'd say it definitely keeps us active and keeps us motivated to, stay in shape somewhat, and just to, it keeps you current. It keeps you, it keeps you excited about stuff. For us, it keeps us happy. Always something to do, always something going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is there like one weekend a month where your kids are like, mom and dad are like super relaxed? So like 1 week a month where it's like mom and dad aren't getting worked up about anything.
Or if they know we're gone and Sunday all day is movie day.
What's that?
Yeah. When we come home then from a date, we'll just have a movie day. We'll just hang all day and watch movies.
You have a rest and recovery day. Let's throw on a Pixar flick and just really chill out, guys. You guys want to order in? Let's order in. I don't feel like cooking. Let's order in.
That's very accurate.
That's exactly it. Yep.
Wow. I'm starting to figure it out. I'm starting to understand the lifestyle a little bit. And here's the thing. When you were first timers, I'm sure that the couple who showed you it, there must be, do you guys, is that like a thing you pass, like, do you work with first timers? Like, is that a thing, or do you try to avoid?
That's a great question, because typically no, because there's just that level of unsureness, and there's like just people are figuring out, so we kind of tend to stay away from that, just and the drama associated with that, I guess. So we particularly know, but there's also people who definitely go for that, and that's like a big thing for them.
Right, that's part of it.
Like the first couple that we were with, they were like that. They liked the newbies. They like to kind of show them the ropes and stuff. And, it worked out great for us because we kind of learned from that, but now that's not how we are now that we're not newbies anymore.
Who wants to be in the middle of a sex act and turn around and see some dude crying in the corner, right?
Right. You're like, oh, they haven't talked about this yet. Oh, no.
Oh, this wasn't for me. This actually was not for me. Just like that feeling. Like, I thought this was for me, but this is so not for me. Like, you just have that experience half an hour in. Like, oh, God. And then she's like, oh, this is really for me. And he's like, I know. Oh, God, I know.
Actually, I can give you somewhat of a juicy story. The first people we were ever with were friends of ours. We were telling them, she was basically talking about how she's interested in a girlfriend and she's looking on these websites, yada, yada, yada. And the girl, from this couple she was talking to, they were completely just our hanging out, regular life friends. And she seemed to be very interested in that. And that, it kind of took off from there. They ended up hooking up like a month or so later. And then eventually that, it all happened. And that was how we knew it. That was like the first time for us. And that's how we knew, like, yeah, this is something that works for us. And I would say they had a very opposite reaction where it wasn't for them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was a mess. Like we just, we're like, oh, that was great. That was fun. And then all of a sudden it's like she's in tears and she's crying and they're fighting. And it was just like a very big turn of events, from fun to, we messed it up here.
Probably looking back, that was more our bad, because we had known it's something we wanted to try for like a couple of years. We had talked about it thoroughly. And we thought we had talked about it with them. And I don't know, they just weren't. It just wasn't something
they weren't on the same page. Yeah, they just
afterwards.
Their communication wasn't there, I guess.
So when they're breaking down, are you guys just looking at each other like, we gotta go get we gotta get the sitter off the clock, guys. We gotta get the sitter off the clock. We're gonna thank you so much. No, hey, thanks so much for everything. I'll talk soon.
Yeah.
No, I was like down there for a couple hours listening to her cry and hear all the relationship problems, and it was an interesting night.
Yeah, I think I went to bed, but you went ahead and talked her through it, which was nice of you.
Wow. I'm blown away by this call. I think you've successfully normalized something that a lot of people view with a side eye. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Cool. That's awesome. It's kind of fun just to bring it out in the open and just to kind of see what people's thoughts are, because it is such a secret. You don't know how people are going to react. So.
Well, can I also say too, if I may just offer not any judgment, but a little analysis. Seems like you, sir, are happy to share the information, and you, ma'am, are really enjoying letting me know about this. The way you've broken down that you're maybe a little bit more of a show off about it is bleeding through the call just a little bit. I think that's fair. We got about a minute left. What else should I know? What else should I know?
I would just say that I guess the point of what we were saying is that it's a lifestyle like anything else, and it's for some people, it's not for others. Anyone that's thinking about it, like, make sure you're 100% both on board. Don't drag somebody into it, and just communicate. The more you talk about it, the more you know or have an idea of how you would approach it or feel about it.
I would think communicate is advice that could help a lot of couples, whether they're thinking about getting into the swinging lifestyle or not.
Absolutely.
Look at that. So
thanks so much for taking our call. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. What are you cooking casserole tonight, or?
Yeah, just a regular night tonight.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, we caught Don't Think Twice a few weeks ago and thought it was really great. So
thank you.
Good job, man.
That's rad.
That was a cool movie. More people should see it.
Can't wait to text Birbiglia and say that we're big in the swinger lifestyle. Thank you so much, callers. Sorry that I was so stammery about jumping in with the three-way call aspect. You guys seem nice. I hope everything goes well with you and your family. And thanks for filling me in. Specific lifestyle, but happy to hear all about it. You guys seem cool to me. I feel nervous because it was weirdly. I don't know why. Who cares? Thank you guys for calling. Thank you to everybody for listening. I want to thank people who helped build this show in its early days. The Reverend John Delore, Greta Cohn. I want to thank Jared O'Connell in the booth, Harry Nelson hanging out, guiding this blossoming community. Join the Facebook group. Don't forget, Beautiful Anonymous, the community on Facebook. Thank you to Shellshag. Fantastic musicians, fantastic friends of mine. All the music throughout the show is by Shellshag. Want to know more about where I'll be out on the road? Go to chrisgeth.com. And don't forget, if you like Beautiful Anonymous, rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. It really helps so much. Thank you guys for listening. Enjoy the power of earning extra money whenever you want. Get your side hustle on and drive with Uber. No one's going to tell you when to come in or ask you to work late. It's a great fit for anybody whose regular schedule is always changing. Sign up today at uber.com/drive now. Hello?
Hello.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. So maybe I'll just explain like the very brief bullet point of what we're doing for anybody listening. Basically, Subaru has allowed us to make sort of like mini episodes of my podcast where I talk to people anonymously, and I understand you are you're a fan of Subaru, and you're willing to talk about wherever this one might go.
Right.
What is it that's making all these, I'm talking to all these people who are like flipping out about Subaru. What is it about Subaru that causes this, like, I would say like this borderline like addiction to the Subaru brand?
It definitely is. It was one of those things where I didn't really understand it until I actually rode in one. And then as soon as I rode in one, I ended up just wanting to be in one all the time. And when I totaled my car hitting a deer, it was the first thing I looked for.
Wow.
A Subaru.
So most people total a car and they're like, oh, this is one of the scariest experiences of my life. And you're like, as you're skidding to a halt, you're like, score, now I can get that Subaru I've had my eye on.
That's essentially exactly how it happened.
Wow. Do you live in a really rural area?
It's not super rural. I live just outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, up in the Sandia Mountains up in there. So
that sounds cool. What's the best adventure you've gone on in a Subaru? Like, as someone who lives in an area of the world that lends itself to adventures, what is the best adventure you've been on?
Okay, so in the, several years that my husband and I have been together, we've owned a lot of Subarus, even up to 8 at one time.
What?
And so we have those. We like to race car them around, take them out to autocross, do stuff like that.
What's autocross? You mentioned autocross.
Autocross actually is a motorsport where you go out and they set up a whole bunch of cones, usually in an open parking lot sort of place, and you go through them as fast as you can.
Did you meet your husband through autocross?
Not through autocross, actually. Here in New Mexico, there's this one event every year. It's called the Shameless Cruise, and basically anyone who's into any kind of car goes to this Shameless Cruise, and we all go up to Shameless Springs and hang out, and it's thousands and thousands of people. And I went up with my cousin, and we were hanging out. My cousin was like, oh, I forgot that I have a wedding to go to. I'll see you later. And I didn't have a ride home, and actually my husband gave me a ride home.
Just randomly?
In his Subaru.
In a Subaru?
Yes.
You met your husband inside a Subaru?
Pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, he was like, I'll give you a ride home,
So then he's giving you a ride home, and your gears start turning. You're like, oh, chivalry's not dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Handsome fellow doing right by me right here.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And I don't know if you've ever heard of VeggieTales.
VeggieTales? I didn't expect you to say that. It's a real curveball in this story, I must admit.
Well, that's what we talked about all the way home. I grew up with VeggieTales, and so did he. And I don't know how we got on that topic, but that's what we talked about the whole way home. So
you guys are taking a nice cruise down the sides of mountains under the clear blue skies of New Mexico, talking about VeggieTales and a love is born.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Anyone listening, just so you know, if you ever wind up in a Subaru with a person you got a crush on and you talk about VeggieTales, you'll get married. You get married. That's like a magic potion. Thank you for talking. That was really fascinating.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Hey, everybody. You're out there. You're wondering why Subaru people love their cars so much. Go to meetanowner.com right now. You'll meet other real Subaru owners. They'll be able to tell you in their own words why they love their cars. Next time on Beautiful Anonymous, I could sing the whole thing off the top of my head right now. The lyrics are incredible.
I can't place it, so I'm going to look at it, or I'm going to look it up, and I think probably it's better that be the first experience than you singing it.
Maybe I don't know about it. Hold on, we're going to test it. Okay. I was 21 years when I wrote this song. I'm 22 now, but I won't be for long. People ask me, when will you grow up to be a man? But all the girls I love in school are already pushing press. I loved you then as I love you still. Though I put you on a pedestal, they put you on the pill. Don't feel bad about letting you go. I just feel sad about letting you know. I don't wanna change the world. I'm not looking for a New England. I'm just looking for another girl. That doesn't ring any bells? That's a great chorus. I don't want to change the world. I'm not looking for a New England.
It sounded like Morrissey was singing it, but
Billy Bragg opened for the Smiths. They were all friends. Anyway. That's next time on Beautiful Anonymous. Hi, I'm Chris Gethard, and I'm the host of a show called In Your Dreams.
I had a dream that I was in my basement, and I very enthusiastically cut off my left hand.
Alongside my very good friend and dream analyst, Gary Richardson. This was a show where we started off, we said we're going to analyze dreams. We said people could call in, let us know about their dreams, and we'd break them down.
When I do have dreams, I call them like reality mares.
That dream made me want to throw up. That was disgusting. But I'll say, pretty much right out of the gate, things got a little crazy.
What are we doing? What the hell is this?
You're gonna put a fucking mattress ahead of our friendship? Find out what went down. Walk into the heart of darkness with us. It's like my personal Apocalypse Now. Listen to In Your Dreams, very kindly presented by the folks at Casper. It's only on Earwolf. It's one of the things I'm most proud of. Comedically, I think it's pretty strange, pretty funny, and I think you will enjoy it. Thanks so much.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Ackerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.